Hello everybody, welcome to the first ever episode of Outside the Frames. I got a kind of makeshift backdrop here because I didn't expect to do this today. But this is going to be the show that's all about media news and TV show news and everything like that. So Inside the Frames is our video essay series about TV and movies, and it's about deep diving and about the making of it and about everything like that post it being released. This is going to be news about TV, movies, maybe some games, maybe not, probably not. Maybe mainly TV and movies as I'm learning about it. And so today's news is about Avengers Doomsday, because today they did like a 5-hour live stream announcing the main principal cast for the movie, which I think is not the whole cast, which I'll get into, but I think it's the most of the cast. So I wanted to go through it with you and break down everybody who's been casted officially. And I'll also give you a few of my ideas and who I think will also be in the movie, but it's not going to be officially revealed. I think it's going to be more of a surprise when the movie comes out. But let's go ahead. I have a list here. We're going to break this down for anybody who didn't get to see it and doesn't want to watch 4 hours of live stream to do it. So I'm going to go through the list of all the official cast, and then I'll go through the list of who I think will still be in the film, regardless of if they were on the official cast list or not. So yeah, okay, so this is, by the way, this is in order of the way they announced it. So if it seems like it's a weird order and out of order, it's how they announced it. So I have no idea why it's in this order, but it is. So the first official one is Chris Hemsworth as Thor. We figured that. We last saw him in Thor Love and Thunder in 2022. Not a good movie, but he said he wants to do redemption for the character. And he adopted Gore's daughter at the end of that, and gave her Stormbreaker, which I still don't understand, disagree with. But we got Chris Hemsworth as Thor coming back. We got Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm. She'll debut in the Fantastic Four, so it's not really much you can say about her because we haven't seen her yet. But she'll be in there, guaranteed. Anthony Mackie as Captain America. Sam Wilson. We saw him in Brave New World. It was a mixed bag film, could have been better, not terrible. Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes. We last saw him in Brave New World as well. He'll be returning in the Thunderbolts, and that'll be the last time we see him before Avengers Doomsday. I'm going to butcher some names on this list, so be prepared for that. Letitia Wright as Shuri, the current Black Panther. We last saw her in Black Panther Wakanda Forever when she beat Namor. That was in 2022. We got Paul Rudd as Scott Lang, aka Ant-Man. We last saw him in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania in 2023. Probably one of the worst films Marvel's ever put out. Very much Spy Kids 3. Wyatt Russell is John Walker, aka the U.S. Agent. We saw him in Falcon and the Winter Soldier last, but he will also be returning in Thunderbolts. So we'll get to see him in Thunderbolts before this movie. Which very much surprised me that he's going to be in this and Avengers Doomsday, but, whatever. So here's one I'm going to definitely butcher. Tenoch Huerta Magia? The actor that played Namor in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and he did great in that role, so I'm excited to see that he will be back. Not expected, but I'm very, very good for that. Another one I'm going to now butcher. Ebon Moss Backrack is Ben Grimm, the Thing. He's the new Thing. He'll be debuting in Fantastic Four, which is awesome this year. One of the ones I'm most excited about seeing, finally, Simu Liu returning as Shang-Chi. We last saw him in Shang-Chi Legend of the Ten Rings all the way back in 2021 and have not seen him again. It is much needed to see him again. Another one I'm more excited about, Florence Pugh returning as Yelena Belova. We last saw her in Hawkeye, and she is returning in Thunderbolts as well. So we'll get to see her a little bit more. Kelsey Grammer's The Beast, from the old school X-Men movies, the OG ones. But the last time we actually saw him was in the post-credit scene for the Marvels, so where he's now all CGI, but he'll be in the Avengers Doomsday. We got Lewis Pullman as Sentry. He will be debuting for the very first time in the Thunderbolts, which is very interesting to see him here, so I'm excited to see what happens with that. Danny Ramirez as Joaquin Torres, or the Falcon. We saw him in Captain America Brave New World, where he did really, really well as the Falcon. Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, also debuting in the Fantastic Four this year in 2025. David Harbour's Red Guardian. We saw him last technically in Black Widow. He was in What If, but I'm not going to count that. I'm going to count his live action appearances. We saw him last in Black Widow in 2021, and now he's finally returning in live action in The Thunderbolts. Winston Duke as M'Baku. Love M'Baku. Super excited to see him. Last time we saw him was in Wakanda Forever in 2022. Hannah John Kamen, I'm gonna guess is how you pronounce that, but she plays Ghost. The last time we saw her was in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. She will be returning for the Thunderbolts, which will be cool to see. Tom Hiddleston as Loki, super excited about that. Last time we saw him was in the end of Loki Season 2, where he became the God of Stories, and is now holding the multiverse essentially together. So he definitely was needed for this film. I'm very glad he'll be in it. Patrick Stewart as Professor X. With the last time we saw him technically was Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but that version died, as far as we know. So I doubt it's that version that we're gonna see. More than likely it's gonna be the version from the Kelsey Grammer Beast universe. Because the one from our OG X-Men universe also died in Logan. So I'm going to guess it's the one from the Kelsey Beast Grammer universe. Then we got Ian McKellen as Magneto. I'm so excited about that. We haven't seen Ian McKellen as Magneto in so long. And the last time we saw him was in Days of Future Past in 2014. So over 10 years ago. And it'll be about 12 years by the time the movie comes out. So I'm super excited that he's going to be in this. Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler. Last time we saw him was even further back. We saw him in X-Men 2, X-Men United in 2003. So it'll be over 20 years since he played Nightcrawler. So excited to see live-action Nightcrawler back from the OG X-Men's. I'm going to butcher this. Rebecca Romijn? But Mystique from the OG X-Men movies. We last saw her in X-Men The Last Stand. So, super excited to see her back. That was in 2006, so it'll be literally 20 years since we'd last seen her as Mystique, where she lost her powers. So I'm going to guess this is all in the same universe as the Kelsey Grammer Beast. James Marsden as Cyclops. Very surprised to see him coming back. Very excited. Saw him in Days of Future Past, 2014. Channing Tatum as Gambit. We finally got to see him in Deadpool and Wolverine, where he became a fan favorite. He's definitely not like a perfect interpretation of Gambit, but he's funny and he's entertaining. So I'm fine with him coming back for this. I hope he's not our Gambit continuously going forward in the MCU, but I'm going to guess he's going to be the Gambit from that Kelsey Grammer universe, and he just somehow got lost in the void in Deadpool and Wolverine. Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. He will be debuting in Fantastic Four. I love Pedro Pascal. I think he'll do incredible, so I'm super excited about that. And then the last officially confirmed one, the very obvious one that we already know about, is Robert Downey Jr. playing Dr. Doom. That was confirmed quite a while ago, but it'll be very interesting to see his take on Dr. Doom. I think he'll do good. I think that I would like there to be a more threatening version of Dr. Doom down the road, like a Mads Mikkelsen or somebody playing Dr. Doom, but I'm definitely down to see Robert Downey Jr.'s take in a multiverse sense. Alright. Now we're going to talk about the characters that weren't confirmed, but I am almost positive at least 60% of them will still appear in the movie. They just weren't announced because they want to be more surprises going forward. So Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. We saw him in Deadpool and Wolverine. They definitely set that up for him to return. He'll be back. Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. Also from Deadpool and Wolverine, same thing. They set him up to return. I think he'll be back in Doomsday. Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Spider-Man's one of their biggest characters, biggest cash cows. I don't see how he's not in here. We saw him in No Way Home last time. Nicolas Cage is Ghost Rider. This is more of a wish list situation, but I think that it's finally time, if we're adding all these characters in, give him a good writing, get him in here, one final hurrah. I think that'd be great. Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda Maximoff, aka the Scarlet Witch. She was presumed dead in Multiverse of Madness, but then we got a tie-in comic that was saying she's alive, and then somebody said no, and then in my mind completely went blank. In Agatha, she was like, yes, she is dead. No, she isn't. I don't know. It's impossible to tell. And so they definitely want to do something with her. This is the perfect place to do it. I'm going to butcher this name. Ixotel Gomez as America Chavez. We saw her in Multiverse Madness. She started training to use her multiverse powers. If you're not going to use her in the setup for the multiverse event, where do you use it? Benedict Wong as Wong. Again, he's training America Chavez right now. I think that it's a definite that we'll see him. He's in most stuff nowadays. Tatiana Maslany as She-Hulk. We saw her in She-Hulk Attorney at Law. I think they want to use this character more, so I think we will see her more. And there's another reason later on that I'm also going to say that I think she's in this. I also think that Mark Ruffalo Hulk will also be in this. We also last saw him in She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Okay, so these are the ones that I think are going to be multiversal villains. So they're going to be the same actor, but their characters have a twist on them. And that's Eric Bana as Maestro Hulk from the old era Hulk movie. It's a dark future version of Hulk, where his intelligence and power merge into a major tyrant. I think he's the perfect Hulk to play Maestro if you're going to have one of them. This one's been around for quite a while. Chris Evans is Captain Hydra. I think they'll bring him in. And all of these characters are going to help Doom take over our Earth and other Earths in the multiverse. I think we'll see Scarlett Johansson come back as a Widow. Having her face off against Yelena is just... it's too good to pass up if Scarlett would come back. And then I think that we'll see Benedict Cumberbatch's evil Doctor Strange. He was killed in What If, but he's insanely powerful. I think it's very easy that we see him again, and him joining in with Doom to help take over the multiverse is just... it makes so much sense. So... yes, so that is all the characters that were confirmed, and the characters that I think are going to show up regardless, and I'm sure that there will even be more that show up regardless. So, thank you guys for watching the first ever episode of Outside the Frames. It's a very simple, very quick, very informational thing I just wanted to do so we can kind of get information going. So, thank you guys for joining, and I'll see you guys next video.